welcome to today's video. I am completely barefaced for this video. So today I'm going to be taking you through my flawless full coverage makeup slash face routine. So I'm going to give you some hinters about what products I use, the techniques I use, and blah de blah de blah. So if you're interested, then please keep watching. So even though my skin is clean already, I have gone in with my simple face makeup wipes, and I've also used a cleanser and a toner. I've not done anything too intense, but I've just basically cleaned my skin. Next part of this process that I think is incredibly important is prepping and priming the skin. So I'm going to take my number 7 Intense Day Cream and also the number 7 Youthful Eye Serum. Now you can take any moisturizer and any eye serum that you'd like. The reason why I like to moisturize these areas, particularly just because the face products sit a lot nicer on my face. It moisturizes any dry patches I have. So if you have dry skin, I would recommend moisturizing beforehand. If you have oily skin, then I would suggest probably skipping this step and going to more of a mattifying primer as such. Whilst I look like Rambo, I thought I would also just mention that it's incredibly important to add some SPF into your makeup regime, especially if you live in a hot country, because you want your skin to be protected. And if you don't live in a hot country, then I still would suggest using an SPF cream, just because you are still exposed to a lot of the UV rays. Next I'm going to be taking this Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, and this is in the shade of 003. I'm just going to use this all over my skin to mattify my skin and also still prep the skin. What I really like about this one is it's quite sticky. The face products are going to completely sit. I'm then going to go in and use this e.l.f. Corrective Concealer in D30. I do believe you can't get e.l.f. in the UK anymore unless you go through like eBay or Amazon or something like that. So I Corrective Conceal because I have a few issues on my face that I want to get rid of before I apply my foundation. This is just basically going to mean that your skin's going to be completely flawless before we add on the extra coats. And that didn't sound too good, did it? So I'm not entirely too sure what every colour is used for, but because I use the yellow, I know that this targets redness. So I have redness around my nose. I have a bit on my top of my cheeks here, and then a lot around my chin. And then I like to use the pinky colour to kind of get rid of the slight dark purpley bits underneath my eye. Just going to go around my nose. What this is going to do is, because this is going to create kind of like a colour barrier underneath your skin, as your foundation slash concealer slash powder or whatever tends to wear off throughout the day, by colour correcting you're not going to be exposing those problematic areas on your face. So once you finish that step, then you're going to want to make a few decisions about a few things. So the first thing you're going to want to make a decision about is what type of finish you are going for. So if you have dry skin, I would recommend going for something a bit more dewy, a bit more moisturising. And if you have oily skin, then I would suggest going for something quite matte. Because I have combo, I can get away with both, obviously depending on what powder I use. So the two I'm going to use today is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in 220 and the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 1W2 Sand. The Maybelline Fit Me one is slightly darker and this one's slightly lighter, so I'm going to mix them together. Because I am going for a full coverage foundation routine, this is the most full coverage foundation I have. It is amazing. It lasts such a long day, and this I'm kind of just using for the colour. The next thing you want to think about is what tools you want to use. So I usually have 3 options that I tend to go for. I tend to go for the Beauty Blender, which kind of gives you more of a natural, really skin-like finish. And it's going to also remove any excess product as you work. And you have a stipple brush. This one is from Wilkinson's, and I tend to use a stipple brush just to, you know, really buff in the product. But I tend to use this when I'm going for more of a sheer natural look. And then I use a brush like this, and this is the buffing brush. Well, this is the buffing brush from Real Techniques. Now, because this is really compact and it's quite bouncy, if that makes sense, it's going to really push in that product. Just going to start by popping this onto my face. This foundation is slightly darker than my natural skin tone just because I still have some fake tan on my chest, so I kind of want to match it up with that. And if anybody tells you, you know, you should never match, like take the product down the neck, do not listen to them, because that is what you're meant to do. Your face is meant to match your body. For concealer, I'm going to use this Maybelline Instant Anti-Age The Eraser Eye Perfect and Cover Concealer. That is such a mouthful, it's ridiculous. But prior to that, you can add another layer of foundation on if you want to. However, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go straight in with this concealer. This is in the shade of Light. Concealer, I would say, is full coverage, but it feels and looks like skin. It doesn't feel like heavy on your face whatsoever. In like a triangle motion. Down my nose and then kind of branch it up to my forehead. Maybe if I zoom in, this might help. There you go. I don't know if you guys can see any better. And then I'm just going to take it down my chin and kind of branch that out too. And then just conceal any places that you have any spots. What I like to do is then I like to go in with the powder just to completely set all of that. So what I'm going to do is the places that I just highlighted with this concealer, I'm going to use a translucent powder, and this one is the Prime and Set Primer and Mattifying Setting Powder from BHCOSMETICS. This stuff is amazing. It's even better than my NARS one, so I am in love with this. One little tip I will say as well, because you don't want it going too cakey, what I like to do is pick a bit up on my brush and then tap it off into the lid. And I just like to work that underneath my eye. I am using the same brush for this. I do just tend to clean them and then just wipe them off, just because I like using this one to set my under eye concealer. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not going to do like an in-depth contour and highlight routine. I'm just going to do it very briefly. But if you guys want to see my contour and highlight routine, either like an everyday one like I'm doing today, just a bit more of a talk through one, on a night out, then let me know in the comments below. Put either natural or full coverage. Just a slight bit of contouring, but I'm just going to do a bit of bronzing. Now, contouring basically kind of contours the face, obviously, but it just means that you were kind of imitating the shadows when a light hits your face. Obviously some parts of your face are highlighted more than others, and others are more shadowed more than others as well. Did that make sense? Trying to mimic the shadows and the highlight just to basically give us that really gorgeous, flawless, defined face all day, every day. This Bourjois bronzing powder. Now, because this is slightly grey toned on me, I'm going to be using this for my contour and bronzer. But prior to that, you can also use a bronzing primer. This one here is the one from Bourjois, and this is the Tinted Smoothing Primer that evens and mattes. This feels so soft. It feels gorgeous. So if you guys have issues with, you know, your bronzer oxidizing and it looks quite patchy, then I would suggest going in with a bronzing primer, because it's going to prime and tint the area that you want to obviously bronze beforehand, so that you're going to get a more even, flawless coverage. And then take this up at the temples. So for blush, I'm going to go into this Sleek palette, and this is the palette in Pink Lemonade, and I'm going to be, this has a cream here and then two powders. Now, you can of course use cream on top of powder, even though it's not recommended. I still do it if you stipple it on. Then for highlight, you of course use either a powder or a cream. Again, I'm sticking with like a powdered theme today. So the highlight I really like to use is MAC Soft and Gentle. And half of this is missing because, I don't know if, oh god, Jesus, fuck. I'm going to take this on my finger because it tends to be a lot more pigmented that way. Just going to dot it on the ends of my nose where the nose kind of pits in, top of my cheekbones. Just to finish up, I like to completely set this and kind of just remove any excess powder and just make me feel gorgeous, healthy and glowy. So I like to use the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus for this. Oh, and then brush my face. So that was absolutely everything, guys. I hope you like this routine today. It looks really nice, gorgeous, glowy, and it will last all day for you as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!